welcome to All Day, Everyday Preparedness. In November of 2022, the 194 member states of the World Health Organization came together and created the new pandemic treaty. This initial proposal was called Zero Draft, and in this proposal, some very interesting things have come to light. It's time to start prepping for the worst. But before we dive into that, here's an interesting fact that I bet you didn't know about the World Health Organization. Guess who is their second largest donor? And I'll give you a hint. It's not a country either, like the United States or France or the UK. It's a foundation. Is it A, the Rockefeller Foundation, B, the United Way, or C, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation? Be sure to watch this video until the end to see if you were right. If you thought the last pandemic was bad, just wait until the next one. Now, many people believe the next great pandemic could come in either 2024 or 2025, and they may be right. Now, coming in just about 1 year from now, in May of 2024, the final draft of the new pandemic treaty will be unveiled. And if this passes, the World Health Organization will virtually control the world when the next pandemic arises. They will have sole discretion to determine pandemics, the treatment, mandates, lockdowns, and travel restrictions. They can mandate mass vaccinations. They can complete surveillance and tracking of global citizens, all under the guise of medical necessity. And they will have influence and control also over agriculture and the environment. Also, with this new sweeping power, the World Health Organization can determine what is science and what is misinformation. Now, under this new authority, they can literally censor any person or member nation. If they say it's science, then that's the official narrative. Now listen to this clip of UK politician Andrew Bridgen sounding the alarm about this to his fellow parliament members. Check this out.
This will be enacted in law and binding in those two new instruments, that the WHO has the ability to say what is disinformation. And when anybody says to you that the science is settled on any issue, I suggest that this House would smell a rat straight away, because science is never settled. There is always open for modification, for new things to be discovered, theses to be refined. And what the WHO is saying is that the WHO will be the arbiter of what the science is. And that cannot be right.
If this new pandemic treaty goes through, it's over. Over for anyone that speaks out publicly or disagrees with the science that they're pushing. Now, eventually, they'll be able to censor you by shutting off your money of those who criticize them and have a differing view. Now, especially once the dollar and all other nations' currency goes digital. And by the way, the World Health Organization, they operate on a whole different level worldwide. You see, they're not subject to taxes like you and I. Now, here's more from Parliament member Andrew Bridgen as he explains this.
The WHO is domiciled in Geneva. And so it has special status. Its employees are exempt from tax, and they and their families all have diplomatic immunity. It is indeed a supranational body, unelected and unaccountable.
Now, as you know, many globalists have a fascination with depopulation and administering jabs. It's like they go hand in hand together. But if this new pandemic treaty goes through, they don't need a single government's permission anymore. Now, right now, the World Health Organization is headed by Dr. Tedros. And if this treaty passes, it's going to give him and his organization power over almost every aspect of our lives. Again, listen to this clip from Andrew Bridgen as he tries to explain this to his fellow colleagues.
And it says that he can bring it in on the suspicion, the risk of an international incident. It doesn't even have to be about a pathogen that's affecting humans. It can affect animals. It's taking the powers because of the environment, or an increase in the levels of CO2. I suggest that honourable and right honourable members read the treaty. It's a massive extension of powers, and at the drop of a hat, one man, Mr. Tedros, can call for massive powers to the WHO. And not only will he call when he takes the powers, he will decide when the pandemic or the emergency is over, and when he'll possibly give us the powers back to this House, where elected representatives are supposed to be representing the interests of our constituents. Well, that will all be suspended. The conduct of the WHO in the recent Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where 83 individuals who are working for the WHO sexually abused the assault of a 13-year-old girl. And And it was all covered up.
The WHO and the members of the organization were accused of assaulting minors, and it just gets covered up like it never happened. See, that's where the diplomatic community comes into play. Now, also, as you saw, Dr. Tedros, he's going to have sole power to decide when a pandemic begins and when a pandemic ends. And if you caught that, it can even be with animals too. So just like the current bird flu that's going around, he could declare that all chickens and all backyard flocks be destroyed. So it's not looking good, guys, if this treaty goes through. Absolute power will be given to this man and his organization. And it doesn't matter about Dr. Tedros. He can be replaced with any other puppet of the week, and they're going to still carry out this organization's agendas. Guys, unfortunately, I think this new pandemic treaty is a done deal. I think it's going to happen and it's going to pass. So that way, when the next big pandemic occurs, they can totally control what every person and every nation does. All right, guys, now it's time to reveal the answer of the quiz on who is the World Health Organization's second biggest donor. And it's no surprise, guys, the answer is C, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So now I hope it's all starting to make sense to you. So there's no time to waste here, guys. Make sure that you're prepping and getting prepared for what's coming on this earth. There will be a next great pandemic. I'm sure that the powers that be, guys, they can't wait to try out their newfound powers on us, citizens of the world. So to learn more about how you and your family can be better prepared, check out these videos right here. I'm going to leave them in the description area as well. This is some important information. Thank you for watching. Continue to prepare, and as always, be blessed.